Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
Fourth and goal to go with the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
And welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel, description box below. It's like very top link. Takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, there's another link underneath there. Right underneath there. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,600 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, might add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, of course, we all know you got to play the games and all that, But, maybe we might have might be batting 500 there, right? 4 drafts, you might have done pretty good with 2 of them, right? I mean that's so sure about the first 2, but seems like he's getting better and better. There's a little bit later in our program here this evening, we're talking about something that happened that just kind of a little funny during the draft and all that and everything. But the Giants are getting some rave reviews for their draft. I mean, it doesn't matter. If you want to give it a B, I still have a hard time that. The thing I could see with the Giants maybe getting a B would be like maybe jumping up and back in. Maybe if you don't like Dart, you think that was a reach or something like that. Okay, and if like maybe some of the guys toward the back end you're not that overly thrilled with. Okay, I could see a B. Okay, I'm not going to argue with that. But I've seen. I mean, there's some guys that just total worthless piece of scum. They go way out of their way to, they like shock, when you read it. I saw somebody give him like a C or a C plus. I don't remember who the douche bag was. I don't know, the low life worthless piece of scum was. I don't know. I wasn't going to read the article. Gave the Giants like a C. I think it was. I'm like, see what the worthless scum do is they'll like shock you. I mean, you'll be reading, you're like, see what? Oh, whoa! Let me click. What do you got to see? I mean, so you read the low life worthless piece of human scumbags article. So I didn't read it, so I don't even know who the guy. But I saw the Giants. Some guy was a C or C plus. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. But for the most part, I've seen a B. I saw a couple of B pluses. That's fair. I can't argue with that. As I said, especially if you think, it's hard with those 7th round picks. We only had 5 picks early on, right? And I said, if you think maybe Dart was a little bit of a reach, that's going to bring the grade down. So that's a B plus. That's fair. But for the most part, a lot of the guys, thought the Giants did pretty well. A minus I've seen, I'm saying. Dane Brugler had the Giants, I think, of the Athletic. I got it on my phone because I can't pop it up on on my computer, because if I pop it up on my computer, I have to subscribe to their, I don't know if it's a newspaper or what the heck it is, but so I can't. So I got to look at it on my phone. But I think the Giants is the 5th best draft class. And the nice thing about what with the Giants anyway, as far as him, and you look at some of the other ones, like who was it? I gotta look. I think it might have been the Seahawks had a very good draft, but they had like 11 picks. The Browns had a very good one, but once again, they had like 5 picks in the top 100. The Patriots had a very good draft, according to them. I mean, once again, they had like 3,000 picks in the top 100, something. I mean, so the Giants had 3 picks in the top 100, right? And, did very, very well. And quite possibly, if Jackson Dart is all of that and a bag of Doritos, if he leads the Giants into the future, right? The Giants are hard to, easily a top 5 class. If you got yourself like maybe the best, or maybe second best, whatever, athlete in the class, but you got yourself an edge rusher, right? And you got yourself a quarterback, right? You got yourself, two phenomenal players. So, but for the most part, the Giants, really rave reviews for the Joe Shane and company. It's a cast of thousands or whatever, dozens or whatever you want to call it. I mean, they did very well last year, did very well again this year. So if we can keep this going, if Shane can stay around, we can keep this going. We, got a good. I mean, if each year you can get 4 or 5 guys from the draft to get on the team and be an impact, I mean, you look like every 5 years you're almost turning. If you get 4 guys a year, just say every 5 years you got 20 players. That's almost totally returning. So the problem was with Shane was his first and second draft class are not super spectacular, but once again, those were his first draft class. He has a lot of stuff in place now. Mr. Mara was rather impressed with the analytics that they have for the draft and all that. He said what we have in place now, for the draft and all that and everything. He said it's very impressive, very, very impressive. And between last season and hopefully this year's draft, I call what the proof is in the pudding, maybe, or whatever. So once again, still got to play the games and all. I mean, we can have 22 bona fide Hall of Famers on there, but if you go 0-17, right? So let's see. So we got Giants, Dane Brugler's draft class rankings. Okay. The Athletic's Dane Brugler released his annual rankings of every team's draft class from 1 to 32. The Giants 7-man class comes in at number 5. With the selection of Abdul Carter with the 3rd overall pick, earning the honor of being Brugler's favorite pick. Darius Alexander was exactly what the Giants needed to complement Sexy. Absolutely. And Skattebo was an ideal running back to pair with Tyrone Tracy Jr. Absolutely. But let's not overthink this one. Carter has the type of burst off the ball that strikes fear in the eyes of blockers and will help the Giants. I mean, the beauty of it is that he can maybe be the Micah Parsons kind of thing, right? Where's the dude going to line up at, right? If we got Kayvon over here, I mean, you get him in an off-ball situation, linebacker, not where he's a defensive end / edge rusher, whatever you want to call him, right? Where is this guy at? You know what I mean? One time, I think, if I remember correctly, I think Ron Jaworski called timeout one time. I'm not saying Carter's going to be Lawrence Taylor, right? But, when you strike enough fear, and it doesn't happen very often either, okay? Because, once again, we're talking about Lawrence Taylor here, okay? But if you strike enough fear in your opponent, right, things happen. And one time, I think it was at Ron Jaworski. Yeah, it was, you come up to the line of scrimmage, you want to know where's 56 at. And he went up to the line of scrimmage, and he's looking around, and he couldn't find 56. He called timeout. I looked around, I couldn't find him. I don't know, where's he at? I mean, yeah. So he called timeout. Well, Lawrence Taylor was on the sideline. He had something wrong with his shoe or something, I think. So he called timeout, you know. So and that's in videos. You see like I was George Martin talked about that, or Harry Carr, somebody. One of the Giant defensive players said, "Yes, you know, we have quarterbacks calling timeouts because they didn't know where Lawrence Taylor was at." Right. So, I mean, if you got Burnsy, you got Sexy, right? You got Kayvon, right? You could put like, you know, line Burns up anywhere. I mean, wow. Let's see. In addition to naming his favorite pick from each team, Brugler also chose a day 3 pick who would surprise. For the Giants, the draft analyst went to the 5th round pick, Marcus Mbow. Considered a potential top 100 pick, Mbow fell to round 5, mostly because of positional fit questions, Brugler wrote. Giants will be hoping he can provide depth at both guard and tackle as a rookie and show enough to be considered a long-term option, especially with right guard expected to be a need after the season. Now, way down in the program here this evening, we're going to be talking about that right guard position. But let me pop it up here on my, hopefully I can. Hopefully I didn't scroll out of it. Oh, we got it. Okay. He's got the New England Patriots number 1, but New England had, oh boy. Let's see. I had it, and I guess maybe. Well, he had the Patriots number 1. I'm not sure if I'm going to be allowed to read it or not, but he's got the Patriots number 1. Patriots had 4 picks in the top 100. They had 5 picks in the top 106. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so they had 5 picks. They also had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They also had 10 picks as well, too. So, I mean, they had where the Giants had 4 picks in the top 105, they had 5 picks. They had an extra pick. Plus, not to mention, they also had, you know, a couple extra picks than the Giants did. So, but he has the Patriots at number 1. Then they got, if I can scroll up without screwing this up. Okay, then he has the Cleveland Browns at number 2. Well, the Browns had 1, 2, 3. Browns had 5 picks in the top 100. Giants had 3. So, and actually, the Browns had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Browns had 7 picks in the top 144. 7. Giants had 4 in the top 150 because they're right. 1, 2, yeah, we had 4 in the top 100 because we got Mbow in top. It was at 154. So they had 7 picks in the top 144. We only had 4. So, I mean, sometimes there's reason why. It's not so much they had unbelievable players that they took. It's just, you know. All right, then he has the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, this is the Seahawks. Seahawks had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Seahawks had 11 picks. So, but the Seahawks had 4 picks in the top 100. The Giants only had 3. The Seahawks had 1, 2. The Seahawks had 5 picks in the top 142. The Giants only had 4. So, because the Giants would have had an extra pick, but they traded up for Dart. So, all right, then the next one he has is the Steelers. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. They only had 2 picks in the top 100, and somehow they were the 4th best draft class. So, don't know, but that's what he has. Then he has the Giants at number 5 overall. So his favorite pick is, of course, Abdul Carter. And then, of course, the Cardinals are number 6. The Bears are, this is according to Dane Brugler. It's all. The Bears are number 7. Titans are number 8. The Ravens are number 9, and the Panthers are number 10. So, yeah. But then there's a whole bunch of other guys here. Whole bunch of other guys. Let's see what we got here. Right. I mean, there's about 3,000 guys here. Every year there's more and more experts grading this stuff and everything. But Chad Reuter gave the Giants an A. Sports Illustrated Gilberto Manzano and Matt Verder, I don't know, somebody else, gave the Giants an A+. Chad Reuter gave the Giants an A. Sporting News gave the Giants an A, number 2 overall. Let's see here. Mike Renner gave 5 clubs an A+ grade. The Giants were one of them. The Bucks, Cardinals, Giants, Ravens, and Titans all got A+. So, the Ringer's Danny Kelly gave the Giants an A. CBS Sports' Chris Trapasso gave the Giants an A. Washington Post Mark Maska gave the Giants an A. Bleacher Report gave the Giants an A. New York Post Ryan Dunleavy gave the Giants an A, number 2 overall. North Jersey's Art Stapleton gave the Giants an A. He had the Browns were number 1. Browns were number 1 and the Giants were number 2. So, Mel Kiper Jr. gave the Giants an A-. USA Today's Nate Davis gave the Giants an A-. Pro Football Focus an A-. The Associated Press Rob Mahdi a B+. I mean, that's very fair. I can't argue with that. I mean, let's see here. Whoops. $250 picks. All right, see what we got here. Whoops. Okay. So, I mean, for the most part, the Giants really did a phenomenal job. Really, really did. Once again, you got to win, right? Everything's got to show up on the field and all. And I mean, once again, as of right now, okay, things look good, especially if we get our quarterback of the future. If we wind up going into the first round and getting Dart and he winds up spudding out or whatever, right? It doesn't turn into that, right? Well, then it was not as obviously as phenomenal because we gave up 2 picks to get the guy. Right? We gave up 2 picks in the top 100, although one of them was pick 99. And then we're going to give up a 3rd-round pick next season. So we gave up 3 really high picks. 1 first-rounders. Okay, but we gave up 3 really high picks to get Jackson Dart. So, it's a lot of it as of right now looks really good. I mean, you can kind of figure, Skattebo should do decent. You figure Carter's probably going to do decent. Alexander should do decent. Bo, we'll have to wait and see. Does he pan out? We'll have to wait and see. And then Dart. Okay, but if we get him Bo, I mean, what was that, 5th-round pick? I mean, to work out, that'd be fantastic. If Dart can turn into something, really, it was a fantastic draft class. But once again, some of these guys you're not going to know for a while. I mean, Dart, you're not going to know for at least next season. You don't. As I said, you don't know. With Dart, when is he going to start playing? Is he going to play this season? If he does, when? You don't know. You know what I mean? And if he does play, is he going to be he's going to play a little bit? Is he going to be it could be an Eli Manning thing. Eli Manning came in the last 7 games of the season. Daniel Jones came in, almost right away. He didn't miss much time. He played 12 games. Right? So he didn't miss much time at all. Right? So we'll have to wait and see. Right? But, I mean, as of right now, this class really, really did a very good job. But, man, the Giants just, Giants in Vegas, it's like oil and water. They just don't get no love, right? But, I mean, one thing I must say, I must admit, and all that stuff and everything is that, it was almost the same thing last year, too, right? The Giants win total was like I think it was like 5 last season. 5, might have been 5.5, 6, maybe it was. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about, man? We got at least 8 or 9. What are you talking? I mean, well, but a lot of it also was injuries. Now, the thing is, when Vegas makes these odds and all and everything, we got to have a tough schedule. Ain't no doubt about that, especially the home schedule. Whew, wow. But you're kind of wondering, does Vegas, did they factor any of that stuff in there? Giants have always been up in the lead as far as injuries. They're probably going to lead the league again in injuries, or they'll be up in the top again in injuries. Do they factor any of that in, or do they just look at the Giants roster and who they got to play and who the coaches are, and they go, yeah, they suck. Kind of wonder how they figure that stuff out. But once again, I mean, I said, I don't, you don't know exactly. You'll never know exactly if the Giants had a healthy team last season. How many more wins would they have gotten? You're never going to know that, right? But one thing I do got to say is that I remember last season it was the same thing. Like after the Giants draft and all that stuff, I'm like, man, are you kidding me, man? The head always has with 6 wins or something like that. It was like, man, are they stupid? No, looks like I'm the stupid one. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. No, man, we got 8 or 9 wins, easy. It'll be the same thing this season. I mean, as we're going along, if the wheels start falling off the bus, one guy after the other gets injured, as seems to happen every year with the Giants. This guy is Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence and blah, 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 right? So a lot of it's going to have to do with injuries, right? But once again, Vegas ain't got no love for the Giants. So where we at here? Is this it? Here we go. All right. 2025 NFL betting odds. New York Giants have lowest win total in over 35 years. Despite a strong draft, New York Giants have an over-under of only 5.5. New York Giants, by all accounts, had a strong 2025 NFL draft, headlined by selecting Abdul Carter and then trading back into the first round to take Jackson Dart at number 25. Yahoo Sports NFL analyst Charles McDonald gave the Giants a B in his NFL grades. Now, like I said, once again, you gave us a B. I can't argue with that. Anything lower than a B, I have a hard time with that. I really have a hard time with that. But a B is fair. The Giants, but odds makers weren't as impressed with the Giants draft. Coming out of the draft, the Giants are one of only 3 teams with a 2025 win total of 5.5 at BetMGM, along with the Jets and the Titans. So we got 3 teams. Whew. And only the Browns are projected by odds makers to have fewer wins next season. They're projected to have 4.5 wins. Even since they drafted Shedeur Sanders and they're only supposed to have 4.5 wins. Wow. It is the lowest win total for New York since 1989, which is as far back as the database as sports odds history goes. Giants' previous low win total was 6 in 2004 and in 2019. And they ended up going 6-10 in 2004 and 4-12 in 2019. So they know. They're good. New York signed quarterbacks average Jameson Winston, Russell Wilson. But the Giants lack playmakers at wide receiver and tight end outside of Malik Neighbors. Now, hopefully, maybe we can address this next season. We did a very good job this season addressing the defense. Very, very good. Wow. Let me count the ways. I mean, our second, I'm talking this season. I'm talking next season too, 2025 and 2026. I mean, everybody's coming back. I mean, I don't know if we're going to let a Carrick go or something like that, but I mean, McFadden. We'll have to keep an eye on McFadden. I think it would be a shame to let him go. But I mean, the freaking defense is, I mean, the whole secondary. I mean, maybe you're talking about maybe Belton or something, but I mean, the starters, we got them this year and next year. I mean, 2025 and 2026. So, but I think next season it would be nice, you know, after this season's over with and the smoke clears, dust settles and all that, we step back, light ourselves up a fatty, right? Take a big puff and you just start looking at the offense. What do we need on the offense? We could use another playmaker. Absolutely. I mean, I love me some Darius Slayton 10 ways to Tuesday. He can be on my team anytime, right? And, you know, he gets his yardage and this, that, and the other thing, but we need somebody else that can just scare the crap out of you. That's what we can use. Now, whether it's a nice receiving tight end, right, or a wide receiver, we need another playmaker next season. Now, I said once we get that either in the draft or in free agency, right? But we have the quarterbacks. We got next season. Well, as of right now, we got Dart, we got Winston. You know, we could probably use a backup. I don't know if Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan is going to come out. Oh no, I don't know. But we have John Michael Schmitz next season. We got John Reed Jr. We got, of course, Andrew Thomas. We'll have to wait and see what's going on the right side. Once again, we're going to talk a little later in our program about the right guard. But, you know, we could use another playmaker, right? I don't know if Motor Singletary is going to be around next. Who knows? Maybe we can maybe use another nice running back or something. But once again, you can get those in the 4th and 5th round. Right, but we could use somebody in the offensive line next season, and we could use another playmaker. Now, if we can get if Dart's the man, he's all that in a bag of Doritos, right? If he's the man going forward, right? We got Malik Neighbors, we got Wandell Robinson, right? We could use another wide receiver. That would really, I said, we can shore up the offensive line and get another wide receiver. We should. I said the defense is really good, really, really good. We could certainly use some depth, but it is true. I mean, we got the one playmaker. We got Wandell Robinson who catches a lot of passes, but he averaged like 7 yards of reception last season. I mean, yeah. See, the Giants' win total is also hurt because they are playing an increasingly difficult NFC East with the Super Bowl champions. Their win total is 11.5. The Commanders is 9.5, and the Cowboys is 7.5 somehow. But say the Giants went 3-14 last season and finished last in the NFC, going 0-6 in the divisional games. With head coach Brian Dable and general manager Joe Shane on the hot seat, it could be another long season in East Rutherford. Could be. You know, the thing is let's not forget. You know, I'm not so sure. We'll have to wait and see once again. I mean, because I did it was an article I saw, but I did a video on this, whatever it was, weeks ago. You know, it seems like Dable and Shane, they're their own entity, their own LLCs or whatever you want to call it, right? You know, it's, Mr. Mara's got to step back and it's like, well, we brought in some good guys. We drafted some pretty good guys. Shane's giving Dable some good guys. We're just not winning with these good guys. Whose fault is that? Is Shane up there calling plays? Is Shane running the defense? Yeah. So it's a possibility if we wind up a dumpster fire once again, which is possible. Dable's gone, Shane stays. I mean, a lot of what, Shane is there to try to, obviously manage the salary cap and all that, but supply good players, right? And he's been, past couple of drafts, he's been supplying some good players. And I mean, he's made a couple bad decisions, but is he getting better, especially with these drafts? So that's I'll have to wait and see. It's not may not be all that easy. The Giants only won 6 games. They're 6-11. That means Dable and Shane are gone. Well, not necessarily. So wait and see. But once again, the Giants. As I said, I remember last year too. The Giants we're not supposed to get a lot of wins, and I was like, what are they smoking? Nope. 3 wins. So this is not really much of a shock, though, right? I mean, this doesn't come as much of a surprise. The Giants decline Evan Neal's 5th-year option. Now, to pay whatever the guy is supposed to be getting. I don't know what is he making. I mean, I don't know if he's $5 million, $6 million a season, whatever it is, somewhere around there. But I mean, his 5th-year option, if they picked it up, would be somewhere in the neighborhood of around $15, $16 million. I mean, we don't even know if this guy can even be a starter for the Giants, right? I can almost guarantee you, if the Giants let him go, he's going to go to another team. They're going to put him in a guard, and he's going to be pretty good. Or a tat, whatever. I mean, I can almost guarantee you, somebody's going to another team. I don't know why. Go to other teams, and he's pretty good there, right? Like Matt Parrott. He didn't do too bad in Denver. They signed him to another 2-year deal. Matt Parrott's here, and he blows. He goes someplace else. Wow, he's pretty good. Yeah. Shocking. I know. Shocking. So it's almost written in the stars. Giants let go of Evan Neal, and he goes to the Seahawks, and now he's an All-Pro, right? I can almost written in the stars. But I mean, this is not too much. I mean, after the season's over with, especially if he's battling maybe for that guard position, that right guard position, if he does good, the Giants, can try to sign him to a long-term deal before he hits free agency, right? We should get a first crack at him, right? So we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, there's no way that we're going to pick up his $15, $16 million 5th-year option. I mean, that's just stone cold crazy. Where are we at here? Okay. So, NFL Draft is a football holiday filled with tradition, celebration, and the culmination of so many dreams. It's also a time to be recklessly optimistic as teams usher themselves into their next era and embark on a journey where everyone has a clean slate. That's true. Everybody's 0-0. Everybody is Super Bowl aspirations, right? It's also an opportunity to reflect on past drafts, which means coming to terms with mistakes of years past. For the Giants, general manager Joe Shane, the 2025 NFL Draft was his 4th. As such, the first-round picks from his first draft class are eligible to have their 5th-year options accepted. Edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau learned shortly after Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter was picked 3rd overall that his option would be accepted. Right tackle Evan Neal, taking 2 picks after Kayvon, will have a different fate. On Saturday, the Giants officially said that they will decline the 5th-year option for first-round bust Evan Neal, per Dan Dugan. Neal taken 7th overall. I mean, the Giants could have done so well. We got pick 5 and pick 7. You could have had 2 great players for years. Nope. So Neal was taken 7th overall, was about as sure of a prospect as Shane could have hoped to find. Yet injuries took hold, and combined with his inconsistencies, Neal never panned out. He lost his starting job to Jermaine Illuminor in 2024, and while he found some playing time, his struggles continued. Not in the running game. The passing game, yes. Giants were non-committed on his future throughout the offseason and into draft weekend, and 5th-round pick Marcus Mbow also added to the hurdles Neal will have to overcome to be a prioritized piece of the second-string offensive line. There's another guy we're going to talk about in a short while here who has another crack at the right guard position. But Mbow is an athletic tackle prospect who may ultimately move to guard due to his short arms, but for now will work at tackle. That's what Dable was saying anyway, right? That's one less spot for Neal to earn and an indication that he may be pushed inside before the rookie. I would love to see what the guy can do as a guard, man. Love it. Neal's run blocking and short area athleticism make that shift possible. Moving positions is never easy, though, and several of his flaws in pass protection can follow him to guard. Working in his favor, even entering year 4, is his status as a first-round pick. Cutting him at any point this season will cost the Giants just under $8 million in dead cap, with no cap savings, because all the money's guaranteed. In declining his option, New York is ensuring that he'll be a free agent after the upcoming season, barring a less expensive extension. In the meantime, Neal figures to compete with Mbo, Joshua Zudu, Jake Kubas, Stone Forsythe, and Aaron Stinney on the depth chart. So, I mean, we have, the one thing, I was rather happy, obviously, that we to get it. You like to get somebody maybe in the secondary every draft, somebody on the defensive line, whether it's a tackle or an edge rush or something like that, and somebody on the offensive line. At least, I don't want to say it's so hard with the Giants to say develop, because the Giants, with the Giants, there is no developing anybody on the offensive line. Either they put them in there and they're like, oh, guy's not bad. They put him in there, it's like, he sucks. And if we put him in there, it's like, he sucks. He's going to suck. There's no. We drafted this guy in the 7th round. I'll tell you what, first year wasn't too good, but this is his 3rd season. And Joe Bag of Donuts, man, the Giants, they developed the heck out of this guy. Man, what a guard he is. No, that don't happen with the Giants. Right, we keep the guy. We keep him for a year or two, whatever. Every year, he sucks. We just let him go. Now he's an All-Pro with the other team over there. Oh, now he's a Hall of Famer. But there is like no developing offensive lineman with the Giants. I don't know what it is. Why other teams can develop players, or why other teams can take our trash and make them into solid gold. Don't know. But let's hope our offensive line works out. But we got a lot of offensive linemen, a lot of them. So we'll have to wait and see. But that would have just been really just because once again, you pick up his 5th-year option. That is all guaranteed money, right? You cut him or whatever. It's total wasted money. I couldn't. You think about letting Saquon walk or something like that. Picking up, you know what kind of a joke the Giants would be. If they picked up his option, like $15-16 million, and they wound up cutting him. Wow. So now that came as no shame. I'm very happy that they kept Kayvon. That's his 5th-year option. That means we got him for 2 more years. This year is his 4th. Next year is 5th. So, and then we can see if we work something out with him for the long term. And once again, he's pick 5. Has he been unbelievably overwhelming? No. Would I like him to be a little bit better? Yeah, absolutely. But right, he's a nice player for our defense. So, well, we'll just have to wait and see. But we got him on. We got him this season. We got him 1 more year. So, as I said, for the Giants defense, we got everybody, almost except for I think McFadden. But we got almost everybody for 2 more years. Yeah. But Shane did say, he was talked about, I think in 3 years from now, so he's almost the whole secondary is going to be up. So also keep an eye on that in the next draft or 2 or so. If we take a cornerback or a safety earl or something like that, whatever, because, you get all these guys, their contracts are up at the same time. Whew, it's going to cost you some money. All right. But also another one of the things, too, that, talking about, of course, draft steals, right? You've seen, all of the guys, what am I talking about? Not all the guys, meaning in the 3rd round, the 4th round, and the 5th round picks, those guys, all of them were projected, according to the PFF and all that, were projected. I think Alexander was projected was the 49th prospect, and we picked him at 65. Right? They all were projected to go lower than what they did. But I mean, quite a few articles I've been reading, right? Especially about our third, fourth, and fifth round picks, or rather flattering for the Giants. As far as whatever you want to call, steals or whatever. At this one here, says the Giants landed one of the biggest steals of the draft on day 3. Pro Football Focus. Pro Football Focus believes the Giants landed one of the biggest steals of the 2025 NFL draft this past weekend. PFF listed selection of Arizona State running back Cam Skattebo in the 4th round, number 5 overall, as one of the biggest steals of the day 3 draft. Skattebo was ranked as PFF's number 51 ranked prospect overall, and we got him at 105. I mean, from PFF, he was the number 3 running back and the number 51 overall player on the PFF big board, making this a strong value pick for the Giants at the top of the 4th round. He doesn't have elite speed, but he excels in many areas that translate well to the NFL. Skattebo ranked above the 85th percentile in PFF rushing grade in both gap and zone schemes in 2024, and was the only running back besides Ashton Jeanty to force more than 100 missed tackles on the ground last season. Now that's, also one of the reasons why, he wasn't one of the top, whatever. I can't remember how many running backs were taken in front of him, but he wasn't the 3rd running back taken. There were other ones taken. But I mean, if he ran the 4.4s, 4.3, upper 4.3s or something like that, he definitely would have been taken much lower, because he doesn't have the breakaway speed, but he can force missed tackles. So I mean, if you can force missed tackles, and once you get in the open, you're gone. I mean, man, there ain't no way he's there. Pick 105. Absolutely not. Skattebo, a former unrated recruit out of high school, was start his college career at Sacramento State, put up monster numbers at Arizona State. Skattebo isn't necessarily an athletic freak like some of the running backs selected ahead of him, though he has more than enough athleticism to excel in the NFL. But he's an elite competitor who plays with toughness and passion. The exact kind of player the Giants head coach Brian Daboll. Absolutely. Absolutely. Then I got another article here, the Giants' most promising draft pick. Now, of course, they talk about Abdul Carter was too easy of a choice. But so they picked Alexander. The question of who is the best draft pick in the Giants 2025 class, obviously is Carter. But the Giants general manager, Joe Schoen, addressed most of the roster's remaining needs, adding several prospects who can help elevate the franchise. Toledo's defensive tackle, Darius Alexander, addresses one of the team's most significant weaknesses from last season: insufficient resistance against the run. Giants allowed 2,316 total rushing yards during the 2024-2025 campaign, which ranked 27th in the league. They also sustained significant damage after missed tackles, allowing 6.3 yards per miss. That amounted to 1,081 yards throughout the season. Only 3 other teams ranked worse in this crucial category. Several NFL draft analysts viewed Alexander as a second-round talent. Pro Football Focus had him at number 49 on its big board, and the Giants got him at number 65. Although mocks and rankings contain inaccuracies, evidence suggests that the Giants got a steal with the number 65 selection. But his elite 90.3 run defense grade in 2024 per PFF best describes the value he can bring to the Meadowlands, his run defense. Alexander's ability to clog up running holes and get to the quarterback makes him an exciting addition to a team that wants to build around its defense. Absolutely. Then there's this Now, this is the funny thing I was talking about earlier. When he got to pick 105, I mean, you listen to Joe Shane, he was talking about this. Got to 105, he's like, man, we got to pick between Bo and Skattebo. Who are we going to pick? We got to pick one of these guys. You know, because we pick one and the other guy ain't going to be around at 154. So who are we going to pick at 105? Well, they picked Skattebo, right? And they thought Mark and Bo was going to be long gone. Nope. When the Giants run the clock in round 4 of day 3, General Manager Joe Shane had a choice to make, or so he thought. He decided on Skattebo at pick 105 over several other players, including Purdue offensive lineman Marcus and Bo. When the Giants went to select in the next round at pick 154, and Bo was surprisingly still on the board, Shane pounced. He never expected to land both the guys. He said, Marcus, he's a guy that we were a little bit surprised that he was there when we picked. We really liked his film, Shane told reporters after the conclusion of the draft. So, and speaking of Mr. Marcus, you know, he certainly got himself some praise. Absolutely. Is this one here too? All right, here we go. Giants draft pick named the biggest day 3 steal. Now, everybody's going to have their biggest steals or whatever, but this draft pick was named the New York Giants' biggest day 3 steal by Pro Football Network. So, Giants may have found their diamond in the rough in the 5th round. Pick number 154 of the 2025 NFL Draft in the Purdue tackle Marcus and Bo. Heading into the draft, and Bo was the 6th highest ranked guard prospect and the top 100 overall draft prospect. However, he slid in the draft due to size and medical concerns. His positional flexibility, solid hands, and lateral quickness drew the Giants' eye, leading them to take a chance on him. And of course, now let's not forget, right, Bo with Tyrone Tracy Jr. were teammates, right? Pro Football Network believes that Bo's skill set makes him the Giants' biggest day 3 steal. His greatest asset is his positional versatility. He played 2 years at right tackle at Purdue, but he's likely better suited as a guard at the next level. He may not have the ideal size and bulk, but he compensates with impressive athleticism, motor, and sharp instincts, the analytics side noted. Bo is a dynamic athlete capable of creating significant running opportunities with his blocks, whether at the second level or out in space. And Bo started his collegiate career as a guard, allowing 0 sacks and just 11 total pressures, 3 hits, and 573 snaps at the position, showcasing his need to play the position in a pinch. Following the season, he shifted to right tackle, so he played some time at right guard, and he played a lot of time at right tackle. So we'll have to wait and see. But a lot of times that's what obviously what winds up happening with, they can maybe play play tackle, right, in college, but then a lot of their arm length or for what maybe the size, whatever it is, I want to shift it inside. That might wind up being the case with him. We'll have to wait and see. But we do know that with the Luminor, and I mean, as we can always re-sign these guys. I can't keep seeing us re-signing Van Roten for another 3,000 one-year contracts when the guy's like 34 years old or whatever. So sooner or later, we're going to stop re-signing GVR. But this is his last season, GVRs and Illuminors. Now, once again, we can certainly bring Illuminor back. That's for sure, right? But, we are going to need to get some long-term answers. I mean, at guard and tackle. So we'll have to, keep an eye on him, Bo, right? We'll have to wait. I mean, you got a lot of guys. We got a lot of guys. It's going to be interesting to see, right? Who winds up winning the job, and who winds up on the second team and all that stuff. But then also, of course, as always, when the injuries start rolling around, which they seem to do every year with the Giants, right? Do we have quality depth to step in there? That's always a problem with the Giants. So keep an eye on that. Now, how the draft has shaped the Giants roster. Now, like what their depth chart looks like. Okay. It did, so we only had we did have 8 picks, but of course, trading up to get Dart, we lost 1 pick. Of course, we're going to lose 1 pick next season as well, too. But, it is what it is. And if we got the quarterback, of the future, it would be certainly well worth it. That's for sure. But so the Giants depth chart. All right, now, how the NFL draft changed the roster. Okay. So we got quarterbacks: Wilson, Winston, Dart, and DeVito. Now the interesting thing here is that you're going to have to keep three quarterbacks, right? I mean, you're not putting Winston on the practice squad. You're not putting Wilson on the practice squad. You're not putting Dart on the practice. So unfortunately, it looks like Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan is going to go on the practice squad, but somebody just might pluck them off and put them on their roster. So we'll have to wait and see. But the ultimate success or failure of what looks like a second straight quality draft by Shane depends upon whether or not Dart turns into the kind of quarterback the Giants are hoping for. The success or failure of the 2025 season might be largely dependent upon whether or not Wilson can make the kind of late game plays in close games that the Giants quarterbacks could not make a season ago. Then we got, of course, the running backs, right? Skattebo gives the Giants the kind of bruising tackle at your own risk, but they have not had since Brandon Jacobs. But Brandon Jacobs was probably outweighed him by 30 pounds and was quite a bit taller. But the common thought is that Skattebo likely pushes the underwhelming Eric Ray off the roster. Yeah. Because you got Tracy Jr., he's making the team. He's making the 53. I mean, I can't see Motor Singletary not making it. And then you got Skattebo. So now you got Turbo Miller and you got Eric Ray. Probably only one of them is going to wind up on the practice squad. At tight end, we got Theo Johnson, Chris Manhertz, Daniel Bellinger, Greg Dulcich, Thomas Fedoni, and Jermaine Terry II. This is a real depth. There is real depth. Well, there's depth, but what kind of quality depth do we have? I mean, we could use, like next season, we could use either another good threat at wide receiver or another good threat, at tight end. Right. Let's see how Theo Johnson pans out. Does he continue? Because before he got injured last season, he was on the up and up as far as receptions. He started off, I think he had 3 catches in the first 4 games, and by the end of the season, I think he had like 29 receptions or so. So he was starting to catch some balls. So let's see if he can continue that. Wide receiver, because after they drafted Fedoni, right? So we got 1, 2, 3. So we got 6 guys. But I mean, I'll have to say, I mean, Fedoni, right? I mean, there's potential there. Just he had, I believe it was 2 ACLs. He had 2. So, I mean, I hope that's not a recurring thing with him. I mean, you feel bad for these guys. But then wide receiver, right? Giants did not draft a wide receiver. It seems pretty apparent, though, that they are intent upon remaking the bottom of the receiver depth chart. They added 2 veteran free agents in little Jordan Humphrey and Josh Pascal. And there were 6 reported undrafted wide receiver signings heading to rookie minicamp. 6. And, that's one of the things is you right, you just bring a lot of guys in, and, hey, maybe you find it. I highly doubt it. But bring a bunch of guys in, and all of a sudden, hey, that guy looks like Victor Cruz. Right? So, once again, I highly doubt we're going to find another Victor Cruz. But you bring in enough guys, sometimes you find a diamond in the rough, right? Then you got the offensive line. There's depth here that did not exist a season ago. We should not see Joshua Zudu a tackle. Thank God. And maybe not Evan Neal. The Giants will start 5th-round pick Marcus Mbow at right tackle. with maybe Illuminor there too. But we'll have to see where he played last season. Maybe his future is at guard or even center. But I have no issue with finding out early on whether or not he might be capable of replacing Illuminor at right tackle a year from now. So we'll have to wait and see. Of course, you got defense. Now, it's the defensive line, right? Did a fantastic job here. So we added some depth, but the depth on the defensive line, I was not like overly. I mean, I like Golston, okay, but we added some depth, right? But but we got Alexander and Carter in the draft. Yes. Depth. Finally, an upgraded talent with Chauncey Golston, Darius Alexander, and Roy Robertson Harris. Check out Nick Filato's breakdown on why Alexander is a perfect fit for the Giants. Well, that's another video, I guess, for another time. But outside linebacker, we got Burns, Kayvon, Abdul Carter, Victor Dimukeji, and Toman Fox, and Trace Ford. Yes, we have to see how defensive coordinator Shane Bowen gets enough snaps for Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and Kayvon. A four-man pass rush of Carter, Burns, Kayvon, and Sexy should be fun to watch, as long as you aren't the quarterback on the other side. Love it, baby. Love it. Inside linebacker, Bobby Okereke, Micah McFadden, Deontay Johnson. Don't forget about him, right? Darius Muasau from last year did a capable job when he was in there, right? Chris Board, Demetrius Flanagan Fowles. Let's not forget, Board is very good at special teams. It's a theme, but there is, again, noticeably more depth at this spot. Carter should figure in too. Let's not forget, Carter can play inside too. I just hope Bowen and Bobby Okereke can get on the same page and that Okereke looks like the player he was in 2023. I don't know if it was the scheme, what they were asking Okereke to do. I don't know what it was, but I don't want to say it was night and day, but the Bobby Okereke in 2023 with Wink and the Bobby Okereke 2024 with Bowen just was not the same. Cornerback. All right, so we got Phillips, we got Flott, Adebo, Banks, Hawkins, Corey Black, Art Green, Nick Jones, D. Williams, and R.J. Delancey III. The presence of Adebo provides a massive upgrade. Cordell Flott is now cornerback 4 and a solid backup both in the slot and on the outside. Absolutely. He didn't do too bad at all last season. Corey Black did not receive an invitation to the NFL Scouting Combine, but I am curious to see what he become with a 4.3 40-yard dash speed and special teams ability as a potential gunner. 4.3. Safety, we got Holland, Newman, Belton, Anthony Johnson, Raheem Lane, and Tommy McCormick. Holland is an obvious upgrade over Jason Pinnock. Newman, the 2024 second-round pick, should get better. This is perhaps the biggest spot on the roster where I have questions about the depth beyond the starters. That's fair. That's very, very fair. That's something the Giants could look to upgrade next season, without question. But for the most part, I mean, for the most part, he did a very good job of adding, where the where the Giants needed, some either starters or some depth. I mean, as I said, we had a lot of holes. We had a lot of, holes and draft depth issues and all that. And you got 7 picks. You can't fill out everything, especially, when you got guys coming and going, right? As is common in the NFL. It's hard to fill all the spots, especially when you get into 6th, 7th round picks, right? Because sometimes they're just not that good. That's why they're a 6th or 7th round pick, right? So you might have like 7 or 8 holes, including depth and all of that, and you might have 3 or 4 good picks. So you still have some holes, you know what I mean? So, but for the most part, I think he did a very, very good job. As I said, there's always going to be holes and depth questions and all that. But let's not forget, right? It's the season hasn't started yet. There's guys you can find, guys you can pick up. There's free agents still out there, right? But I want to talk about the stark differences in the Shane's draft from his first draft to this one right here. It's, his theories and all that and everything. They've certainly changed. They have certainly changed without question. So, all right, where are we at here? All right, so there's a long one there. It's just from the education of New York Giants GM Joe Shane. The differences in his draft from 2022 to 2025 are stark. This is from Anthony Del Genio. Unsurprisingly, the verdict around the NFL and among the Giants fans is that Shane had a great 3 days at the draft. None of it means anything until the games begin. But for a team coming off a dispiriting 3-14 season, the optimism now is higher than anyone might have imagined. For whatever reason, Shane and his staff now seem to be better drafters than they were when they first came in. In some sense, that's not a surprise. Shane was hired by the Giants in January 2022. Brian Dable was hired as a head coach a week later. That gave them less than 3 months on the job to evaluate their existing roster, get to know their college and pro personnel departments, mostly inherited from the previous regime, and deal with free agency. That ain't enough time. Of course, most new GMs and head coaches face the same thing, since firings and hirings usually take place when the previous season ends in January. What made Shane's challenge different from, say, that of Adam Peters in Washington is that he inherited a roster whose contracts put the Giants $40 million in the red. Thus, in his first offseason, Shane mostly released or did not re-sign players, and he was only able to sign low-end free agents on bargain basement contracts. Peters did not have that problem, and it showed in all the contracts he was able to give out to high-end or mid-range veterans such as Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, Jeremy Chin, and etc., and so on. During the bye week last season, Shane alluded to the fact that the Giants were short on players heading into the 2022 draft, and this might have been his motivation for the multiple trade downs he performed and the players he chose. The next year in 2023, he did just the opposite, moving up in the draft twice to grab specific players. In both cases, the argument can be made that he did it to fill needs rather than to get the best player available at any point in the draft. There's nothing wrong with trading down to accumulate picks. In fact, it's considered to be a desirable draft strategy, as long as the picks you make are good values. The reaction to most of Shane's 2022 draft, though, after Kayvon and Evan Neal was who? Right? Yeah, I mean, the last two drafts have been different. Let's take a look at all four of his drafts and see the progression in skill draft over the time. I mean, yeah, I said 2022 class. I mean, yeah, Wandale Robinson was a good, solid pick. Kayvon was a good, solid pick. Flott's not a bad pick, but I mean, and McFadden was a good pick. Right? 2023, we took Banks and Schmitz, Jalen Hyatt, Eric Gray, Trey Hawkins III, Javarius Owens not even on the team, Jordan Riley, so. But last season, Neighbors, Newman, Phillips, Johnson, and Tracy Muasau, good solid picks. So the chart above allows us to address two questions. Where and how often did Shane overdraft prospects to fill needs, and how often did he get good value? How often have his picks not lived up to expectations, and how often have they exceeded them? Let's see here. The second big difference. The progression of results over Shane's four drafts to date is striking. Shane takes a lot of heat for the Kayvon and Neal picks, but that's history. The NFL had those players ranked number 3 and number 4 heading into the draft. After that, though, there's clear evidence of reaching for need, poor scouting, or a combination of the two. Every single pick was taken not just sooner, but a lot sooner than the community imagined them to. Let's see. 50 pick, 43. Wow. Well, so let me see if I can share my screen here. Pop this up here. Share the screen, and I'll show you. This is interesting. Oh, here we go. This is interesting. Okay. All right. So if you look here, right, the big board. Okay. Now his first year in 2022. Okay. Wan'Dale Robinson on the big board. I don't know if this is PFF or whatever. They had him as the 93rd ranked player. The Giants took him at number 43. Joshua Zudu, the 143rd ranked player. The Giants took him at 67. That's 76 picks before the big board had him ranked as. Cordell Flott, 176th. Took him at 81. I mean, look at all these. I mean, look at it. Marcus McKeithen. He was the 411th on the big. I don't know what the big board this says here. Big board, the BBV. Exhaustive research every year. Oh, okay. Chris Flum, who does exhaustive research every year on prospects for the draft for BBV. I don't know. Still don't know who the heck that is, but right. Marcus McKeithen, they had him the 411th player on the big board, whatever it is. I don't know. Giants took him at 173. That's 238 picks sooner. He shouldn't even been drafted, according to them. Big BBV. Once again, whoever the heck that is. Right? Then you look here. Trey Hawkins III. 545th player. The Giants took him at 209. That's 336 picks earlier than he should have been made. And same thing with Jordan Riley. They took him at 314 picks earlier. BBV has him at player number 557. Giants took him at 243. Right? But you'll notice here in 2024, okay, Malik Neighbors was picked 6. On the big board, he was 6, right? So there's any difference in value? None. Tyler Nubin, his big board, he was at number 50. They took him at 47. So it was only 3 off, right? Andrew Phillips, there was only 9 off there. Giants took him at 70. The big board had him at 79. Theo Johnson, though, right? He was the 90th. Got him at 107. That's a plus 17. Tracy Jr., he was 153. We got him at 166. That's a plus 13. Then Darius Muasau. He was, according to BBV, he was a stretch right there. But you'll notice here, look right here, right? Look at here. Okay. Abdul Carter, right? Nothing. Jackson Dart, the big board, whatever, had him at number 33. We got him at 25. Right, but you notice all these other guys. Look at all these other guys, right? Darius Alexander is number 51. We got him at 65. Skattebo, number 91. We got him at 105. Marcus Mbo, he was the big board. He was number 65 on the big board. We got him at 154. Thomas Fedoni, the second. He was number 194 on the big board. We got him at 219. And then Corey Black, 215 on the big board. We got him at 246. So you see all this red right here? This is where you, according to the big board, this is where Shane reached. All of these picks, right? Right. Didn't do too much reaching here. 3, 9. Yeah, that one's 0. And this one, these were green, so these are good. It's maybe Muasau was a little bit of a reach. But right here, all great picks, according to the big board, right? So, of course, pre-draft wisdom plus $3 will get you a ride on the subway. The final column shows where each player ranks total among his classmates in Pro Football Reference's weighted approximate value after having been in the league for 1 or more years. The only player from Shane's class who's clearly outperformed his draft position is Micah McFadden, tied 34th in WAV, but drafted 146th. Yeah, so you look at this here too, right? right? I mean, this is where like these high numbers here are not very good. See, McFadden did the 34th is very good. Kayvon number 14, that's very good. But all these other numbers, not very good at all. All these numbers, not very good. 213, 101, 115, 180, 115, not very good at all. So this here, not bad, right? I mean, right? They've only played one season. A lot of these guys wound up injured. Newman, Phillips, Johnson, a lot of these guys got injured. So it's kind of tough. So we'll have to wait and see. But you do notice, right, that one thing is that Shane's first season on the job, he did a lot. He did a lot of reaching. And you can see, I mean, it paid off. It paid off. Didn't pay off at all. Horrible draft. The first, I mean, some of them was just, some of those guys shouldn't have been drafted, and Shane picked them. But as I said, I mean, to be fair to Shane and Dayball, he only had a couple months, 2-3 months to get ready for free agency. He had to go over his team. He had no money. He had to find out his scouts and all that stuff. So, you got to give him a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of a mulligan maybe in the first season. But I mean, the first season you can see, but you see as the drafts go by, he doesn't seem like he's reaching as much now. So it seems like he's getting better as time goes by. Then it's like the story that just won't die. It's kind of like what happened with Saquon Barkley last year. It's like every day there's a new story coming out with Saquon Barkley. So I'm done talking about him. I'm not talking about him anymore. He's in the past. He's tush pushing his Eagle buddies. They got their pants down and they're tush pushing each other up the bunghole. So he's happy. He's a happy camper there. So if you want to tush push your way into the hearts of your teammates, that's on you, bro. So I don't talk about him anymore. But Mr. Sanders here, I'll tell you what, the Giants actually had him at, and the more time goes by, you keep hearing more and more stories that are coming out. And so you just shake your head at this guy. And I think, I mean, some of it might have to do with his father. Right. I mean, there's a story out there, and Dion told this, and it goes to show you, it's just like the arrogance of the guy. I mean, Dion just wound up working out where he wound up being a phenomenal player, and he's gifted. He's very, very lucky with his speed and all that and everything. But there's a story out there. You have these potential, teams might want to draft you, right? And you don't want to burn any bridges, right? And one thing Dion did was when it came time just before the draft, the Giants went up to Dion and they gave him a book, and he said, and Dion's like, it was a defensive book, their plays or whatever, something like that, whatever. And again, he said it must have been this thick, it was thick as a phone book. It was probably a little smaller, what he's brought up, but he's like, the Giants want. He's like, goes to them. He's like, what is this? I don't remember where the Giants were drafting at. I can't remember exactly, but Dion went up to I can't remember, it was George Young or whoever it was. I don't know. It might have been Parcells. I have no idea. Right? He said, what is this? He said, oh, that's our defensive playbook. We like you to go over it and we'll bring you in or whatever. We'll talk about it and stuff, whatever. Something like that. And he's looking at it, he's like, I got to do something, So, of course, in his arrogant way, right, he's like, excuse me, where are you guys drafting at? And they told him where he drafted. He's like, I'll be off the board by then. So he put the book down and he left. I mean, he's just very arrogant, ignorant, And once again, he's very, very lucky, But it seems like some of that might be rubbing off on his son. Right. There's an article here, Boomer Esiason, who's talking about, he talked to 3 guys. He didn't bring up their names and all like that, but who actually took Shedeur Sanders after their interview, took him off their board. We don't want that guy. Don't want that guy. Now, it sounds like some of it might be coming from his father. Is his father, once again, he's not, he was a phenomenal player. He's very, very lucky he was a phenomenal player. But you don't want to burn any bridges or anything like that or whatever. But, it's the stuff that you just keep hearing. Shedeur came in with like an entourage. Once I heard there was one, I don't even know if it's true. He had he was FaceTiming with somebody while he was in an interview. And he kept the FaceTiming up while he was, dude, what the f is wrong with you? He came in, he had like so much cologne on that somebody came up and they wanted to go for a walk or something like that. Like, let's get out of here because your cologne is just, it was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. The guy hasn't completed a pass in the NFL and he thinks he's the greatest thing ever. It's just, guy's got a lot to learn. Let's see. But the Giants actually had Shedeur apparently on number 1 on their board a few months ago. Shedeur Sanders ended up a 5th-round pick by the Browns. After spending a good deal of time being discussed like he was a potential top 5 pick, he wasn't even the first quarterback the Browns took in the draft. At one point, at least one team did have him as a top player on their draft board. In the latest episode of the Scoop City podcast, Deanna Rossini talks about how and why Sanders fell so far. At one point, toward the end of the season, the New York Giants had Shedeur Sanders on their board ranked number 1, Rossini told Chase Daniel. So once they realized they weren't going to get Cam Ward, Shedeur to them was their top quarterback. So I guess Cam Ward was their number 1, but if they knew they couldn't get Ward, they knew Sanders was their number 1 ahead of Dart. So how does he not get picked by them? Well, something between the end of the season and the draft, something happened. Well, what happened? You got to know Shedeur, and they got to meet with him, and Brian Daboll got to talk with him, and members of the Giants got to spend more time, and that time they were able to learn more about the player. Giants ended up taking Abdul Carter, obviously number 3, and obviously Jackson Dart. While it's unclear how high other teams had Shedeur on this at the start of the process, the common theme was that it didn't go well. The Giants aren't the only example of an experience that wasn't exactly fireworks, Rossini said. It wasn't a match made in heaven. There were a lot of teams that I spoke to that would call the meeting they had with Shedeur just okay. He did not blow the socks off anyone. According to Rossini, teams felt Sanders was approaching the team's meetings like they were recruiting visits instead of job interviews. She also said that one team suggested that if Shedeur had an NFL agent, he would have been better prepared for the process. So I guess maybe he didn't have an agent. All right. Then we got here. Shedeur didn't slide all the way to the 5th round in the NFL draft because of racism, collusion, or average athleticism. It was surprise his entitled attitude, arrogance, and woeful unpreparedness in face-to-face meetings. See, a lot of people, just automatically pull the race card out. A lot of people, it's like, all the owners got together. They all roasted marshmallows at a fire, and they all whisper in each other's ear, "Yo, don't pick Shedeur. Don't pick Shedeur. Don't pick." You know what I mean? Yeah. It's amazing how that absolute garbage comes out. For the Giants, we entered last week's draft believing the Giants might pick Sanders at number 3 overall, even trade up to number 2 in order to nab him. But he fell, and all the way down to the Browns at the number 144th overall pick. According to Todd McShay, the Giants dropped Shedeur after a botched pre-draft meeting in New York. On his McShay Show podcast, he reports that Sanders was unprepared for an offensive install with head coach Brian Daboll. And when he was questioned, he got into a heated exchange. What an idiot. Shador didn't have a great interview with Brian Dable in a private visit, McShay said. An install package came in. Preparation wasn't there for it. Got called out on it. He didn't like that, and Brian Dable didn't appreciate him not liking it. It's a joke, really, an absolute joke. When asked about that meeting, Dable obviously said, he kind of dodged the question. He said, we had good meetings with all the guys that came in here on 30 visits. So Dable didn't throw him under the bus or nothing like that. In addition to McShay's reports, Yahoo NFL reporter Charles Robinson now says on the Inside Coverage podcast that Shador rubbed teams the wrong way and left an unfavorable impression on several executives and coaches. Before the draft, reports surfaced about Shador being considered entitled and arrogant in private interviews. What an absolute idiot. The quarterback didn't participate in the scouting combine and opted to skip the draft in Green Bay to instead throw himself a lavish party at the family's home an hour east of Dallas, at which rooms were decorated with the word legendary and dollar bill signs. Here we go here. Former NFL quarterback and TV analyst Boomer Esiason is adding to the puzzle, saying on his New York radio show that Shador's self-confidence crossed the line over into uncoachable cockiness. Esiason, in fact, claims he talked to personnel people on 3 different teams that dropped Shador entirely from the draft board. So we don't want this guy. That's pretty sad, especially if you're talking about a quarterback. Quarterback can make or break you. Right? You got a quarterback that maybe be pretty good. He's pretty accurate and all, and they just totally drop him off their board. Wow. Right? He's very high on himself, and I think he's very off-putting to too many coaches and general managers in the league. The Esiason said they took him off, and they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy. I don't want this entitled person on our team. And I don't, and Esiason said, I don't blame him. I don't blame him either. I want some cocky idiot on my team. Shador's father, Dion, entered the NFL with the same amount of bravado. Yes, he did. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But his talent was obviously he was lucky, the talent he had. He's lucky. Given the same attitude, it sure sounds like NFL teams decided Shador's temporarily vastly outweighed his talents. Said Shador after finally getting drafted by Cleveland after the Browns drafted the quarterback Dylan Gabriel 2 rounds ahead of him. Do I have any regrets? Shador said, I feel like it's life. It's always a way I can improve. So it's always in different areas I'm able to improve. And some things that I could have done at the time that seemed right. At the time, I could have went about it a different way. And that was more during the season and stuff like that. Whatever the heck that means. I have no idea. I don't know. But and it's the same thing here with Boomer Esiason. Sanders was reportedly removed from at least three draft boards prior to the event, due to the entitled attitude, according to Boomer Esiason. Now, these are people that Boomer talked to, and I don't know, how many guys he talked to. Right? Yeah, but he said 3. I mean, that's pretty bad. The former NFL quarterback said he spoke to NFL personnel people with 3 separate teams who said that the team's owner told them to take Sanders completely off their draft board. I mean, that's really bad. I said, especially you get somebody who could possibly be the second quarterback being taken in the draft, and you got owners like, nope, don't want that guy on my team. I mean, the thing is, it's when it comes to winning and losing and all of that, maybe winning a Super Bowl and stuff like that, you get a super quarterback and all that. Maybe you can push some of that stuff. Well, he's pretty arrogant, but he's not that arrogant. Get away with that. I can see us raising that Super Bowl trophy. He can be a little arrogant then. That's all right. I'm okay with that. But you got owners out there just totally, we don't want that guy and all that. And just, that's really, really bad. Somebody needs to I don't know. And we're talking about if he had an agent or something like that. Maybe an agent would, have him better prepared. Well, I don't even know if he even listened to his agent. I mean, he seems like some guys just they're in their own world, and whatever they say and do is right. And they're like Donald Trump. There's only two things with Donald Trump. He's right and you're wrong. Those are the only thing. Donald Trump's right and you're wrong. Those are the only two things. Same thing with sounds like with the Sanders too, right? Dion's right and you're wrong, right? But I mean, some of these guys got to grow up. They got to pull their head out of there. You know what? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Some of these guys, they think they're so entitled. Haven't even completed a pass in the NFL yet, and they think they're God's gift to the world. Absolute freaking joke. Absolute joke. All right, and finally, now, Giants love an Evan Neal rival. Now, Mr. Kubis here, right? Let's not forget about him, okay? He had a not too bad of a season last year. Not too bad of a season. Now I want to share you. I'll show you his PFF numbers and all that, but didn't do too bad last season. I mean, his passing pass blocking was not super spectacular, but give him some time. Who knows? Now they were kind of hoping maybe he might wind up winning maybe the guard. Well, I have to wait and see. But he is smaller than Evan Neal. Evan Neal's probably got 30, 40 pounds on him, right? But according to the report here, they love themselves some Kubis. So he's cheap, undrafted free agent. So, right? So the Giants' big winner in the NFL draft is Evan Neal's competition. The New York Giants reportedly love an Evan Neal rival. Ooh, who could that be? Giants selected 7 players in the draft, blah, 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 blah. Yet the biggest winner of the draft for the Giants isn't one of those players. It's not Carter, it's not Dart, it's not Alexander, it's not Skattebo, right? It's not Mbo, right? According to this article here, Jake Kubis, an undrafted guard, could be the detriment of former number 7 pick Evan Neal. Kubis is expected to become a prominent name in the guard rotation and apparently has friends in high places, according to CBS Sports. One of the biggest winners of this draft and the offseason cycle is Evan Neal. He'll have a real chance to save the Giants' career at guard. Yes, that's true. If he decides to go in there, we'll see. But there's a sleeper in the building that the Giants brass likes a lot more than most know. Jake Kubis. He's another big winner. The former North Dakota State Bison played in 5 games, making 3 starts as a rookie. In his first NFL start, Kubis posted a 76.7 run blocking grade, according to PFF. Meanwhile, Neal's Giants' future is in jeopardy. The Giants recently declined to pick up his 5th-year option. Neal was the number 7 pick and was supposed to be the mainstay at right tackle. Yep, we were supposed to have our tackles for the next 452 years. Nope. That's why you got to hit on your picks, especially those top 10 picks, right? But he's failed to live up to expectations and may be facing the transition to guard in order to revive his career, or save his career with the Giants anyway. Giants also landed a lineman, right, from Purdue, who fell to the Giants with the 154th overall pick in the 5th round. Joe Shane revealed Giants were surprised that Mbo was available, stating that there was no red flags that caused him to slide, and he was in consideration for them in the 4th round. It's like, what do we take, Skattebo or Mbo? Well, we can only take one of them because by the time we pick at 154, the other guy will be gone. Nope, that wasn't the case. Giants are reportedly going to have Mbo start working at tackle. Mbo played both tackle and guard in college, but the Giants believe he can stick on the outside in the pros. Okay, man. If he sticks, I'm all for it. Let's go, brother. Let's frickin' rock and roll. I love it. Let's see. But Kubis might make things complicated for Neil, maybe a guard. So we'll have to kind of wait and see, right? We're going to have Thomas, right? We're going to have John Runyon Jr. We're going to have John Michael Schmitz. We're going to have GVR and Neil battle it out here with Kubis. We're going to have Illuminor and Bo out there at right tackle. Going to be interesting to see. But let me show you here. I got now, to be fair, Kubis, his pass blocking grade. Once again, it was just the start, right? Just first few starts, all this stuff and everything. But he does have some work to do. His run blocking, pretty good. However, if he's going to give Neil, like especially a guard, a run for the money, Neil did very well at run blocking last season. I'll show you that too. So did Kubis. Neil did better, right? But they both did not do very well pass blocking. So let me pull this up here. All right, share the screen. All right, I got 72,452 trillion tabs open up here, so I got to find it there. There we go. Okay, this I'll show you Kubis' first, okay? All right, so this is him last season. He played in 5 games toward the end of the season, right? Now, obviously, the Raven game he played once. I don't know. I was like, he played 1 snap, right? Other than that, right, the last 3 games he played a lot, right? Against Nolans, he played 29 snaps. But, I mean, you look here, right? Okay? Against the Eagles, right? I mean, he did not have a good game at all. And this is against, I can't remember if the Eagles had all their backups in there or what. I can't remember. He did not have a good game there. But if you notice here, his run blocking game grade against the Saints, 82.5. Even against Baltimore, 67.1. Atlanta, 76.7. Indianapolis, 59.3. Okay. Graded out of 52.2. So it's got to be better than that. But overall, his run blocking grade was 67.2. Okay. But it's pass blocking. 38 against the Eagles, or 39 against Atlanta, 46 against Nolans, 51 against, right, Indianapolis. Not very good. So it just, right, so he played 197 total snaps. Now let me see here. Okay, whoops. Back to the 2023 season here. Let's how do we do it North Dakota State here? Hey, not bad. I mean, once again, North Dakota State, all right? But, I mean, if you look here, his last 3 seasons, everything was a 70, except for in 2021, right? He graded 62.7 at pass blocking. But 2020, he didn't have many snaps, okay? But his last couple, pass blocking, 79 to 76. He graded out of 76 his last season, 75.9 his last season. So, but once again, look at the teams he's playing against, though, right? East Washington, Maine, Central Arkansas, Missouri, I don't know if that Missouri, Montana State, North Dakota, Western Illinois, Murray State, South Dakota State, Southern Illinois, Northern Iowa, Montana State, South Dakota, Montana. So we ain't talking to Alabama, okay? But I said, if we look at, the thing here, wait, hold on. I got to go to NFL. Here we go. Let's try this here. Evan Neal. Then we go to 2024. Okay, here we go, right? Now the thing is, all right, so you look here, okay, his run blocking. Right, he once again, He had a couple rough games, but he graded out at 80 overall. His pass block of 49.6. But once again, he played left tackle and right tackle. All right. But I mean, to be fair, okay. Now the last season, right, he graded a 61.2. Right, but you look at his first 2 seasons, a 41.8 and a 39.8. Basically, he graded out almost like about a 40 his first 2 seasons. Last season, he went from like a 40 up to a 60. Right? His run blocking, his zone run blocking, graded out at a 90. Very good. Very good for the season, right? So, I mean, he was graded out a 48 and a 51 in run blocking. He graded out an 80.8 run blocking last season. Big jump. Huge, huge jump. But you'll notice, once again, his pass blocking, 49.6. Yeah, so his pass blocking still has something to be desired. Yeah. I mean, he had a couple rough games last season. Yeah. He only gave up 2 sacks. He gave up 17 total pressures. Okay. He only gave up 2 sacks, but he just, the man Evan Neal's got some work to do, without question. Certainly has some work to do. Now, it'll be very, very interesting once again. As the season, as training camp and all that progresses, who's where. Now they're going to try guys. Evan Neal might be in the first team one week, and then he might be in the second team the next week, and they're just trying guys out and the stuff and everything. And then of course you have injuries. Guys come in, guys get injured, and all that stuff. So, but we got a lot of offensive linemen, a lot. All right, but it's going to be interesting to see, who winds up winning out at guard, because we got a lot of guys who can play there too. And I said the nice thing about this is that our defense is really, really pretty good, right? Especially, I said, after this season's over with, right? We look and see, do we have our tackle of the future? Do we have a right tackle of the future? Do we have our right guard of the future? Do we have our left tackle of the future? Is Andrew Thomas injured again? Are we going to have to think about replacing him because the guy can't stay healthy? How's John Michael Schmitz? Is he still getting a little bit better? Let's hope, right? So after the season's over with, let's go into next season between free agency and the draft. The Giants will have to address their offensive line issues. But I said we got a lot of guys, right? And hopefully we can get a couple of answers, right? Hopefully we can get at least 1 or 2 answers by the time the season's over with. As far as Evan Neal did a good job at guard. He's our guard of the. If we can get some definite answers after the season's over with, that would be fantastic. So, but we next season, I said the defense is. Of course, we can always add a guy or two without question, but next season, the offensive line and another weapon at a wide receiver / tight end would be really, really good. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 38 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo! Oh, yeah.